As always, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell to be notified for future videos.
Hello, and welcome back to the Fish Tank. I am Cole. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers and dads of the world. Hi guys, welcome back. Today we have a pretty interesting one. Today, the old man himself is helping me build this Lincoln Continental Custom made by Johnny Light. So how the old man is helping me is, this is his car. I am just the cameraman today and assistance helper. He is the one who built this car himself. Let's jump into it. Alrighty, so we are starting our video out as normal. So we're just drilling it out, and this is his first time drilling it out, so it was a pretty interesting start to our build. The rivet slipped in the back and he kind of drilled almost through the interior, but luckily he got it drilled out, as you see there. Next, he was trying to figure out how to get the glass out, so I told him, let's drill out that rivet as best as we can and see if we can break it free. It did break free, but sadly, you'll see in a moment, it broke in half. But hey, that happens. If you look right there in your top left corner where that arrow is, then you'll notice that it is broken in two. So luckily we have a plan to fix it later. So once the car was fully apart, as always, we put it into the chum bucket, as you see there, and then he locked it closed and shook it, and then put it off to the side gingerly to let it strip. After a couple days, he then pulled it out of the stripper, made sure his paper towel was down, and he started to peeling away that paint. Very, very satisfying process, I do have to say myself. How this build all came about was about a month and a half ago, when my dad here asked if I could help him build a car. And of course I told him, yes, of course I'll help you build a car. And then he asked me, would it be cool if I did a video on it? And I was like, of course we could do a video on it. He's like, how would that work though? And I was like, well, all you have to do is make sure your hands are in the video, and that's really about it. All you have to do is build it on camera, and all I have to do is do this voice recording as you see here and explain to the folks what you're doing. So that was the little dealio there, and I thought it was a good little setup. Honest, it's a bit easier to do this voiceover because you watched the process already once and now you're watching it again in video. So I really think it helps. There is a couple of new things I'm doing in this, so like seeing right here, so the sync process that I normally do, but he's doing it right now. So what I normally do is I take the hot tub, as you see there, and we always put some soapy water, hot soapy water, and dunk the casting in there just to get the, the excess residue off the casting. We do this with the casting and for the hood. After we do that, we move on to drying it off and getting that wire brush out to scrub it away. As always, no Dremel tool, but we are using the wire brush, and we're just getting in there and making sure we get all the crusties and rusties off of the casting. There was no rust on this casting, I was just joking around there. And honestly, majority of this paint got stripped off for this car by sitting in the stripper. I honestly think the car was repainted at one point in time, but my father thinks it wasn't. It was just an odd color, and it honestly looked like spray paint. But who knows? You never know with that kind of thing. It kind of felt like paint that was put on, but also it kind of looked like it was new, or how it came. So, I don't know. Still got to figure that one out. So the car was finished with all of the, cleaning with the wire brush and degreasing it. We moved on to paint. So the primer that was put on this car was a Rust-Oleum's silver or silver primer. So we did this for the hood, as you see there, and also the body got a very light coat. So as you see here, this is the exact process that I normally use for my cars, but he wanted to use the exact same process. So I go outside and I just shoot away. So with rattle cans, I found out you cannot be spraying too close because the paint will probably run and it just will not look good. Once that dries, we move on to paint. So my dad went with this like metallic black from Testers. It's a very nice paint. It goes on very nice and it dries very fast. So it's very, very convenient. And I have to say, he was a very lucky man because a lot of the time I have to paint cars multiple times and he just lucked out. All he had to do was paint this car one time and it just turned out beautiful. Yes, there was a couple mistakes along the way, but he got lucky. Also, he decided he did not want to clear coat it, so this is the final layer of paint. And honestly, it looks good just the way it is. I honestly had a fear that it might bubble up, so I didn't want that to happen. While we let that dry, he is now moving on to his base, and what he did was he snapped out the original wheels and now he is prying those little tabs open so the Hot Wheels axles can fit in smooth. And the wheels that he's picking for this car is off this Hot Wheels Nomad. He liked these steely looking wheels and they also had like this white wall strip on it because his idea for this car was actually a very clever one. It was kind of like this mafia gangster car. And I was like, I do not see this vision. But once these wheels were applied and I saw it with the black paint, I was just like, now I see your vision. And it's a good one. This Nomad, believe it or not, was a pain in the butt to take apart. But after a while, we did snap it off. And now we're at this point. The wheels fit completely perfect. All he had to do was slide them into the front and the back and just add a little bit of our Gorilla Glue. So that was actually kind of convenient. So there was no struggles with like axle tubes or anything. It was just slide in, glue, and go. After those were dry, my dad decided he wanted to add a little bit of bling to this car. So the parts that he chromed out with our chrome pen here was the front grille, the back bumper, and then the tailpipes on the sides. He just wanted to bring out a bit of accent with something shiny. He didn't want to paint the base all in black because he thought it would look cooler if it was just original and just add those chrome accents just to look a little bit more natural. Once the car was finally dry, we do move on to the detail parts. So the details that my dad did was the rear back hatch, you'll see that in a little bit, and the motor here. So what he decided to do was grab a little of the chrome paint and just do the details that are noticeable. So like the covers and the carburetors, the headers and the carburetors. And then once that was dry, he wanted to go with like this bronze paint from Testers that we had, and I was like, this is different. This is all your car. So you do you, and it turned out honestly awesome. For the carburetors, he decided to go with like this like tangerine orange, and it kind of gave it like that that vibe or the kind of the right year look for it. So I thought it turned out pretty awesome. We'll set them down. Now we're moving on to our final assembly. As you see here, we're starting with our base. And my dad did some final details on the axles, and he added a little red paint to bring out the red interior, as you see here. He wanted to go with a red interior because that was honestly his favorite color of old school interiors. He always liked the velvet red, so we thought it would be very appropriate for this mafia type car. Next, we're moving on to the casting. It is looking awesome. Like I said, that paint is just on point and it looks very, very nice. and there wasn't much detail to do on the outside. Like, the door handles were very small, and he didn't want to risk messing it up. And look at that back wheel cover. That looks pretty cool. Also, then look at the detail in the engine. I know it's very, very simple, but honestly, it's the best looking part of the car, in my opinion. Also, here is the hood to match. Turned out amazing. After that, now we are going to assemble our car. So how we're going to do this is very simple. So you first grab your interior, and you just snap it in these little rivets that you see there, and it'll hold it in place. Once you're done with that, you got to make sure your broken glass is glued in like we have there, and then you got to slide in your hood. It was a very easy car to take apart and put back together. Once the hood slides back in like it is right now, the car is ready to be married to the chassis once again. And as you see there, it is one whole piece. Guys, let's go see what we started with. This is what we started with. If you guys remember, it was a very basic Johnny Lightning custom Continental. And it needed some TLC, to be honest. She was pretty beat up and she needed some help saving. So that is what my dad did here today. I really think he made this thing look 10 times better than it did from Johnny Lightning. Guys, let's go see his final results. Here is his final results. Guys, I have to say it. I think this car turned out fantastic. I'm super happy with it. I know he is too. I really like the chrome accent details that he did on the bumpers and the exhaust pipes. I really love the paint. It really sticks out, and it has a sparkle when you look at it in the correct amount of light. Also, the glass is broken, but it did fit in there like it was never broken at all. And I really like the wheel swap. I really think those wheels fit so much better with the car, and the white walls really just bring the whole thing together. Plus, I think that red accents on the axle tips really bring out some slight accents to like the interior. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a lot of work for me and my dad, and I hope all of you have a happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are builders here on YouTube, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers around the world. Guys, thank you for stopping by the fish tank, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Have a nice day.
This video is sponsored by Hobbytown. Hobbytown is an awesome hobby store where you can find all your hobbies wants and needs. They provide everything from your tools and supplies to an awesome variety of paints, from spray paints to paints for your airbrush. To find your local Hobbytown, you can go to www.hobbytown.com to use the store locator at the top center of the homepage to find the closest store near you. Again, the website to use is www.hobbytown.com. Remember, we make your free time awesome.